not a great year for law enforcement in New Mexico, which came in at number 6 on our list. A rash of shootings by the Albuquerque Police Department this fall capped several years of such incidents. State police had their own headaches with the shooting of an unarmed motorist in November, and more recently the firing of an officer after he shot at the tires of a minivan full of children when the driver fled a traffic stop. That last story made national news, certainly, as did one from Deming, where officers forced a man suspect of hiding drugs to undergo enemas and a forced colonoscopy. Rachel, all of you, I apologize for having to say that out loud once again with that incident in Deming, but honestly, Rachel, Sams, I gotta think, I have friends in other places, we all do, and I'm sick of getting the phone calls like, what is up with your police over there?
What's going on?
Right, exactly,
yeah,
and it was an embarrassment. Your sense of the overall meta sort of take on law enforcement here, where are we in New Mexico?
You know, here in Albuquerque especially, I think there's just the thing that is kind of the most alarming as a citizen about the officer-involved shootings, two things. One, they seem to be happening more frequently, and two, nobody seems to know why.
Right.
And there are probably many causes, there usually are with anything this complicated, but I have yet to hear really an explanation of even one. Now you're starting to hear the interim police chief say there are people on the streets who shouldn't be on the streets, whether it's because of mental health issues or criminal background, but there's a lot of things going on here and we just don't know why, and it's scary.
It's interesting you bring that up because the mental health issues have been out there for a while, but it didn't seem to get much traction a bit ago because there were so many shootings, everyone was looking at the police and their actions, and you certainly don't want to blame the customer. That's not what people are doing here, but where does that stand in this whole thing? Why can we not get after the mental health issues if that's part and parcel of the problem?
Well,
you see what I mean? It's a very tricky thing.
It goes back to the gun issue too, because that becomes an issue of, you know, if folks with mental health problems have access to these weapons.
But not many of these people have had guns.
Right. They've had something in their hand, maybe, but not a gun.
That's right, exactly. And you know, a lot of families out there hurting, Trip, because of this.
I want to preface and repeat what Rachel said. A lot of causes, but then you also have to ask about training at APD. You have to, you know, ask about what kind of training have they been going through? Has the training changed in the last 10 years with, is there a kind of a more military model, you know, out there than there once was? I don't know the answer to these questions, but there are a lot of questions that are raised, including the mental health issues. And I want to say, I don't know what it's like to be charged by someone with something in darkness and having to make a split decision. That's where the training comes in, and also the individual personality. I do think it was unfortunate that the trooper shot at a van with kids. I really don't know how to, it was daylight, I don't know how to make excuses for that. You're trying to think through and empathize.
But there's a lot of folks out there, Gwyneth, who also say, well, you know, she should have just stopped, and that's like a cause and effect because she didn't. That's why the shots were fired. But to Tripp's point about training, I don't know how anybody could pull out a gun in that situation if you were trained with a firearm. To know a bullet can literally bounce anywhere with a van full of kids. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the big picture here, when we look at the number of incidents and the time here, you know, if you have unruly children in a store, you blame the parents. And downtown, when we have fights out on Central, we blame the bars. Well, we have problems in this culture, in this law enforcement culture. You know, the mayor got rid of the police chief after a long time. But I think it's reasonable to look at leadership and at the culture and at hiring practices. You know, we have a crime problem in Albuquerque, especially. We all know this and we feel it and we demand that something be done. And we have allowed the police to change radically from the way they were a generation or 2 generations ago. Now we're struggling with the results of that. What do we want?
Interesting question. You know, Russell, you don't hear the term community policing come up a whole lot lately.
Not anymore.
Right? Remember that was a big deal a few years ago.
Yeah.
What happened to that? And the reason I ask and bring that up is, it seems to me if you're close to the ground as a police officer, and by the way, in the context of this is the call for more officers downtown as we tape this because there's been some problems with things. Is it a function of just simply more officers on the street here in Albuquerque would help this in your view? And if that's the answer, how many more do we need? When do we need them? It's a difficulty.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even a realistic demand that we can have right now because the department, Albuquerque, is facing a shortage of officers. Roswell is facing a shortage of officers.
That's right.
Sheriff's departments across this state are facing a shortage of officers. And our biggest cities right now are without police chiefs. Las Cruces at this time right now, Roswell, Los Alamos, Albuquerque. So you have not only a shortage of officers, but also a question and debate about training. What do we train? How do we train them? When do we train them? And who do we allow in the department? And then the Albuquerque Police Department, to its credit, has increased the requirements to be a police officer, but have they increased pay? That's another issue.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Who
That's right.
are we able to bring and attract as officers if we keep pay at a certain level? And then if you do get college credit and you go to school, do you want to do for your career go into police a police department that is not going to compensate you when you get a better job somewhere else?
That's right. That's right. I'm going to wrap this one up there. This is a difficult one, isn't it? Of all the top 10 issues
Yeah.
this year, this is really, really a tough